Hello, everybody out there on YouTube. We are the Middle-Aged Guys, and we're going to continue our episodic reviews of Young Justice. Hopefully, this particular one will pass without too many faux pas. I apologize beforehand for the tone of my voice and the fact that I'm all stuffed up. But in this particular video, we're going to cover Season 1, Episode 21, which is entitled Image. Let's get all the introductions out of the way. I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
Okay. Season 1, Episode 21, Image, originally aired out in March 17th, 2012. Like we said before in many of the other intros, there are no spoiler warnings in our particular review videos. These episodes are close to 6 years old as it is right now. And whenever we go over these particular reviews, we're going to talk about 3 particular points. First thing, what we liked about the episode. Secondly, what we didn't like about the episode. Or if there's any details we would like to change, we go ahead and we address that. And then thirdly, we go out of our way to mention any reference points or setup points that we see in the particular episode that we know is working towards something that's coming in the future, whether or not it's a future storyline or episode, coming down the pike. All right. Without all aside, let me go ahead and jump into the synopsis of this particular episode really quick. This episode opens up rather shockingly, showing a security recording of young Superboy and Black Canary in a sparring match. And after it looks like, Black Canary succeeds in putting young Connor Kent on his ass, she decides to go ahead and reward him. At this time, Green Arrow and Black Canary are watching this, and their reactions are rather shocked, okay? Black Canary denies anything happening right out. She asked for the video to stop. She's like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on here? I have no idea. And then Batman calmly says, you have to watch the rest of this. He plays the rest of the video, and it turns out that it is Miss Martian shapeshifted into the form of Black Canary, playing a well-known child's game, with Superboy as Martian Manhunter goes ahead and explains it and says that, even though everybody is a shapeshifter on Mars, they're also telepaths, so they can tell who's in front of them just by looking into their mind. Knowing that such games actually carry some sort of other, social consequences otherwise, Black Canary is pretty much beside herself. Green Arrow, not so much so, but after a while, after she calms herself, she has a conversation with Black Canary to go Miss Martian, to go ahead and straighten things out, and she tells her just to be herself, all right? Which is pretty much a recurring theme throughout this whole episode, all right? Shortly afterwards, Batman gathers up the team, which consists of, right now, Miss Martian, Superboy, Robin, and Kid Flash, okay? Only those particular 4. And he sends them off on a stealth mission to the country of Kurak to go ahead and find out why the president, Ruman Harjavti, has, for some reason out of the blue, declared that his country of Kurak used to be a whole country with the neighboring country of Bialia, which is ruled by Queen Bee. And he said that, that in an unprecedented ceremony, very shortly, they're going to unite the countries, and then he's going to hand over the country to Queen Bee in order for her to go ahead and reign over everything as the modern monarch. Okay, they leave off to the mission. On arrival to Kurak, they notice that a local, animal refuge that's actually owned by Mary Logan, which that will become very relevant in just a second, is being overrun by Bialian soldiers who are breaking, they're not respecting the border lines there. And during the time, with the Bialian soldiers breaking through into the refuge, the animal refuge, it causes a stampede, which has a young Garth Logan and Mary Logan in the path of a stampede of, basically of elk and other things. They go ahead, they save the owners of the animal refuge. It turns out that the owners, like I said, there's Garth Logan and Mary Logan. Mary Logan is actually a former teen pop star, teen TV star, star of a long gone series called Hello Megan, which turns out to be the actual, basis for Megan Morris's or Miss Martian's human identity. Mary Logan isn't very happy that the fact that they went ahead and they intervened. She said that usually they go ahead and they trample over and they break some fences and then they leave. Nothing happens after that. She said that, them intervening has probably actually made it worse for them, and that they're probably a target now of the Bialian soldiers. Turns out that that's true because the Bialian soldiers come back and through a drone strike, they actually go ahead and attack the animal refuge. During the attack, Garth Logan, he actually ends up being injured almost fatally. He needs a blood transfusion, and the only person who's available that thinks that they can help him at the time is Miss Martian, for the fact that when she goes through a transformation, it's on the cellular level, and she is able to sit there and transform her blood type to a matching blood type for Garth. Okay? That procedure actually finishes up without incident. That saves Garth's life, and during the time, they go out of their way and they finish their mission over there in Karak. Turns out that the President Haravati is actually being influenced by Simon. Queen Bee is not there at his side, but her powers actually would have allowed her to go ahead and control him outright. But Simon is there. So the team has a run-in with Simon and also the Bialian soldiers. The Bialian soldiers are all armed with apocalyptic technology and weapons. And it turns out it looks like they were going to set it up in a way where the president was going to be assassinated, and then they were going to go ahead and blame the assassination on the American heroes that are there on Karaki soil. They foil that plan during which Simon and Miss Martian get into a psychic battle. During that psychic battle, Simon, causes Miss Martian to reveal her actual physical form, which is that of a white Martian, which we predicted, in a previous video. And before the rest of the team is actually able to come and see her form, Miss Martian brain blasts him, knocks them all unconscious. All right. And during the continued fight with Simon, as Simon continually pressures her and corners her into a wall, Miss Martian decides to go ahead and let loose basically the psychic dogs of war. She doesn't hold back at all. And Simon ends up being her first psychic lobotomy, pretty much. And she basically blows him out of the water, leaves him in a drooling, lobotomized state. All right. The team gathers up back at the Logan Animal Refuge. They go ahead and they go over all of the happenings and all of that. One of which is when the team actually confront Miss Martian with, "Hey, look, we found out that your whole identity, your whole spiel, who you are, is based off of this old TV series from like the 70s. Do you care to explain, who you really are to everybody?" And which she does, thinly, all right, not completely. And she explains that, yes, this is the reason why I chose, Megan Morse as an identity. Due to the fact that I had nothing to watch while I was over there in Mars. My uncle sent back transmissions from Earth. This is what I chose to go ahead and build my human identity as part of. And after they have a little bit of a table setting moment and everything else, Miss Martian goes to check up on Garth, only to find out that over there in Garth's room is Queen Bee, who lays it all out in front of her. "Oh, yes, by the way, bitch, I know who you are. I know what you look like. As long as you do what I ask you to do, I'm not going to reveal your secret to everybody else in the team and everybody that you hold dear." And that's pretty much where the episode leaves off. A little bit more verbose and a little bit more detailed than the synopsis than what I initially planned, but I think that's actually kind of required for the type of things that we're going to cover now. All right. Out of the things that we saw in this particular episode, guys, let's go ahead and touch on the first talking point. What was some of the things that you liked about the episode? Floor is open.
The very beginning of the episode was comedy at first. When Black Canary and Ollie, Green Arrow, walk in and they see that footage, their reaction was gold, especially Ollie's, especially Green Arrow's, because it's a simple fact of the matter that what would you have done if you would have saw that at the heat of the moment? He instantly got pissed. He wanted to question her, and then when the true footage was revealed, well, not true footage, but when the true self was revealed as Miss Martian, sense of relief kicked in, and he bursted out laughing. When that happened, when I first saw that, I bursted out laughing too, because he even wiped a tear from his eye because he was just like a sigh of relief. That was one of the things that I liked. There are many other things I liked about this episode, but I wanted to touch on that because that was hilarious. Gray Mouse, what about you?
Well, I actually liked all the foreshadowing that was in this episode. Mm-hmm. It was full of it. In fact, so much that after I watched this episode, I had to watch the rest of the season. It's just one of those things, and then also things that's going to happen in season 2 as well.
Yeah, it's a bam, 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 bam with this episode.
It's a very foreshadowing episode. So one thing I like too is that finally that Robin actually is the leader in this particular mission, which foreshadows for the future. So it's kind of interesting.
The thing about that was he wanted to reject that because of what happened
previously.
Yeah, just a few episodes ago, he's still carrying a lot of baggage from the fail-safe and disordered episodes when it comes to that.
Aqualad wasn't there.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to add in, Gray Mouse, before I jump on this?
No, if I start, it'll just be a laundry list.
That's why I have to stop at the beginning. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of things about this episode.
I think the one thing that I liked about this episode most is that there's a saying in film and also TV shows that when you're storytelling, there's two ways of doing it. You could either tell the audience what's going on, or you could show the audience what's going on. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So really, up until this point, if you think about it, we've known Miss Martian ever since episode number 3, but we really, really don't know about her. All right. And this particular episode, the very first half of it, it goes out of its way to show you a lot of things about Miss Martian that just really kind of fall into place. All right. From the way that she chose to appear as a human to hints as to why she had it out for Superboy from the very fucking beginning. All right. His response to seeing, who Connor was in the TV show was golden also.
That was golden.
All right. And also, like I said, it really shows, like, not only, how she chose to go ahead and appear, but also the type of persona and what the type of image that she's continuing to portray onward with everybody else. Like I said, we've known Miss Martian ever since episode number 3. That's when she was introduced. But when it came to backstory, there has been no dedicated episode to her backstory at all, or to her particular character. Mm-hmm. And now we find out that, well, majority of her fucking character is pretty much copy-paste from a fucking TV show. All right? Which, if you think about it, still kind of leaves everybody at the end going, all right, so who is this chick really? All right? Mm-hmm. And that's probably my favorite thing about this particular episode. They really took the time to go ahead and actually show the information instead of just telling people. One of the other cool things that I really liked about it, because of that whole process, was that there was a shitload of one-liners that we'll go over. Well, actually, that I don't want to go over because it'll end up being like just laundry listing stuff.
Yeah.
But the amount of care that they took with the actual intro to the pilot episode is actually pretty impressive, and it's golden. Like the fact that and right at the end of the intro credits, it says created by Greg Vietti and Brandon Wiseman. That's actually a play on the name of Greg Wiseman and Brandon Vietti, which are the showrunners and the creators of the series of Young Justice as a whole.
When they had the Hello Megan going on.
Yeah, when they had the credits for Hello Megan and everything going on. So it's great. There's a lot of stuff that's really packed into this. I think, especially for an episode that's, concentrated solely just on Miss Martian, this one's great. All right, I really like it.
I want to add this at the end of this one.
Go ahead.
Pretty much all the Young Justice now we had their backstories, except for one, and that's coming up in a future episode.
Yeah.
Well, one is the one that we don't necessarily even need.
Well, yeah, but it's still almost it's dedicated to his.
But that episode is fantastic.
But I didn't want to bring it off topic, but I did want to say that this.
I know, but
so this is like one of the last origin stories that they gave us in the season 1, and the way they've done it is just brilliant.
This episode starts the beginning of the end of the first season, and the way everything is told from this point forward, it's either going to individual basis or the discussion of the future for these people.
Yep.
In a way. And it's like now the episodes are really getting into depth.
And you got to pay attention to it because a lot of details are going to be very important for the future, the rest of the season, and into the season 2.
Well, I think it started at the last episode because
they started. Actually, the funny thing is that you can make the debate that the argument that they started sowing the seeds for a lot of this stuff from episode number 1. All right,
well,
which is
of course.
which is one of the reasons why when we started going ahead and going through the reviews, especially when we started to sit there and actually structure them the way that we were talking about as far as the 3 parts, why I really made sure that we talked about what they go ahead and set up and reference,
With the exception of that one fucking episode called Secrets.
Well, that's the only that did have a little bit of setup in it, but yeah, it's mostly forgettable. Yeah, just a little bit.
That's
it's very, very little
right there.
Yeah, all right. But that's not to say that this particular episode, as good as it is, and as much as I know that we've liked it so far, is perfect. That'll bring us to our second point, guys. Was there anything in this particular episode that you didn't like, or were there any details within the episode that you felt would have been better if they changed it a little bit?
Come on, Miss Martian. You still couldn't tell them the truth, the whole truth at the end? Shit. Yeah. Or eventually get to it. I mean, I understand to a certain point, but I was still like, come on. I mean, her brain blasting the rest of them was kind of funny because I'm like, whoa, she took them out like that?
Yep. Okay,
Kid Flash and Robin I can understand, but even Superboy?
Well, that goes back to that failsafe episode where Manhunter said that she has abilities more powerful than I am, than mine.
I hear that.
So,
but that's not my initial gripe. My initial gripe is, God damn, you still couldn't reveal it at the end?
Yeah. I mean, even Simon was surprised at how quick she acted.
She turned the corner, she took them out. Like, no, these motherfuckers ain't knowing. I mean, yes, her greatest fears were shown if she would have told everybody or whatever. And I'm not sure why Martian Manhunter was in any of those clips of, he should already fucking know. But again, that's fine. That was the only thing. I'm like, but okay, she showed a lot of emotion. Winnie Cooper didn't show this much emotion in the one video, but she does it here. Okay, that's fine.
Hey, leave her alone.
Fuck that show, okay?
No, the thing is Simon put her back against the wall. And I think that Martian Manhunter, the reason why he was there was just to put that final nail in the coffin, the proverbial coffin there. You know what I mean? Like,
the final nail was Superboy.
well, yeah, that was pretty much it. But there were, you know, like even her what is it? Her uncle,
Yeah,
was not, you know, like, it's time for you to go back.
yeah. Well, without having to sit there and jump into that justification further, what did you not like about the particular episode, Grey Mouse?
I hated the Hello Megan shit. I hated it. It was so 90s or 80s cliche sitcom bullshit. It was like
The Wonder Years.
all the sitcoms that she had from Earth, she had to imitate that one. Hello, Megan.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But I know it fits. I know it fits in the storyline, but that really, really aggravated me.
Again, it was like the Wonder Years. Hint.
Well, Grey Mouse has said, from a few videos back that he's always hated the "Hello Megan" catchphrase whenever she does it. So it fits into the motif. I understand where he's coming from.
But this is the episode that explained it. But I'm not knocking that, Grey Mouse.
Yeah.
I'm not. It was just hilarious the way you were putting everything.
I think with this particular one, other than the standard teenage angst and antics of a lot of folks, all right, like the one thing about like Miss Martian not going ahead and telling the truth at the end, which does gnaw at me also, is that it gave us one of the best one-liners in the whole fucking episode. Bald Miss Martian.
Bald Megan.
Still hot. Yep, from Kid Flash.
Kid Flash.
Yeah, Bald McGann. Still hot. All right. One of the best fucking lines, in the episode. But the one thing...
I was just surprised that Superboy didn't jump into that immediately, but...
Well, what was cool was the fact that how quick she thought on her feet. Because obviously, if her uncle is bald...
Well, it's just one of those things where it kind of throws into that. I think she thought well enough that, hey, since this is similar to my uncle, that'll go ahead.
Exactly.
But that's not what bugs me. Okay, what bugs me is this. All right, so you have Miss Martian, Kid Flash, Robin, and Superboy there. How the hell did Queen Bee sneak into Garth's room?
Exactly.
All right.
Not only that, there was no way that Superboy didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, or out of all of those fucking characters there, that she snuck past all of them. Okay, that's number one.
And
all right,
got into the room.
Yeah. Not only that, okay, but knowing that even then, going up against Queen Bee from the very beginning, where the hell was Artemis or Zatanna? Well,
exactly.
they explained Aqualad away, but they didn't explain them away. All right. So I mean, because the thing is that later on when Queen Bee is mentioned, guess what? They have the all chick team. All right. Going after her and running the mission in Bialia. And maybe you can sit there and say that it's a learning point from this particular mission. All right. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense, especially when you consider, all right, you have the best hero strategist and Mr. Prep Time, Batman, actually running the fucking mission. He's going to sit there and he's going to send 3 dudes and Miss Martian to go ahead and run the whole mission. And that's it.
But it's funny how even in the beginning of the episode, you saw a little bit of Bruce Wayne there. And Kid Flash kind of...
Yeah, which is another thing that kind of bugged me, but that's Wally being Wally, all right? And again, that's not even a Kid Flash thing. That's Wally being Wally, all right?
Yeah.
So could you put this towards the easy, nice package wrap-up? Or it was put there as a point to where to continue the next episode? Because
actually,
this is the start of
this one. This one's a lot better. That's actually going to bring us to our third point. for the last 10 minutes that we got here. What did you see show up in the episode that acts as a setup or reference for a future episode? And there's actually a lot.
Yes. The one most important thing to me that I noticed, the blood transfusion. Now, with that being said, as soon as you looked at Garfield Logan after that, he had green eyes.
Yep.
So that, and if you know who Garfield Logan actually is, that covers all of that. I'm like, okay, we're done. We're done here. All right. When is it happening? And that's all I'm really going to say about that.
Go ahead, Great Mouse. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I have to agree. I was going to mention that actually because when they first meet Garfield Logan, his eyes were blue or kind of a teal, and then after the blood transfusion made them green. Which, anyway, another one is I think would be the putting Robin as a leader.
Yep. Yeah, I mean the thing with Robin as a leader is that he still holds a lot of reservations being over from like the failsafe and disordered episodes, and it showed like throughout the whole episode. All right, because it was like wait, me leader, and it was like Batman's like you're the most obvious choice. Aqualad's not here.
Yeah,
and that the thing about it is that I like the fact that does definitely set up majority of second season and everything else. One of the things that we were kind of remiss to go ahead and mention, which was another obvious one, was that Queen Bee blackmailing Miss Martian. All right,
yes.
That
was the obvious one.
Yeah, that's a really obvious one. That pays dividends all the way up until the end of the first season. And then the other one that I think is also really obvious, which comes back for a lot of return performances, is Miss Martian going out of her way and just blasting people to the point where they become drooling lobotomers. All right, where they're pretty much nothing is left there. Well, they're broken to the point where it's like, yeah, this one is not coming back anytime soon.
That becomes a cornerstone in a freaking second season.
Yeah. I mean, it almost becomes her signature move. So. Literally. All right. So was there anything else that we wanted to go and throw on there? But I think we covered pretty much all the concrete ones, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Because, I mean, from that point, we could just start nitpicking as far as it being like in a good way.
Yeah. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of things to like about this one. But you know what? Let's go ahead and wrap it up like we normally do. All right. On a scale of yay, nay, or meh, what are your final thoughts on this particular episode?
Gotta give this a yay. Not only did Robin, he was a leader, but he rejected it, but he accepted it. Miss Martian, backstory. Superboy and Kid Flash, they were just there, but they held certain important parts as well. And then Garfield Logan. Queen Bee at the end. Yeah, I give this a yay.
Gray Mouse.
I have to say the same thing. I agree. I'll give this episode a yay. With all that was said before, and it's a good. This is when the story really starts picking up and moving towards the end of the season. So it's definitely a yay for me.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one an enthusiastic yay. There's something about this particular episode, and I found myself being very, very surprised. Rewatching it just recently to go ahead and do my notes and all of this, is that if we were at the beginning of this particular set of videos that we were done as far as reviews and stuff like that, if you'd asked me, okay, so what's your favorite episode of Young Justice? I mean, there's quite a few of them that would have stood out, like the failsafe episode, what is it, agendas, maybe a few others, right? But, in the large scheme of things, this particular episode, Image would not have been one of them. All right. But I gotta say, as far as where this falls within the full series, the season as it is right now, this is one of the tightest and best crafted episodes that's put together. Like I said, when you have storytelling, you could either tell or you could show. All right. We already know Miss Martian. We've been introduced to her, you know, ever since from basically episode number 3 all the way forward. She was introduced at the end of episode number 2. But yeah, so when it comes to a lot of this, it's like, well, we really don't know her. And then all of a sudden they go ahead and they spend 5 minutes on some shitty parody of of like a late 80s, you know, early 90s sitcom. And that told everybody so much about Miss Martian as a fucking character that it's like, oh, wow, yeah, you know. And not only that, but the way that she reacted to, you know, how things happened with Simon, and, you know, if any of that, you know, that built-up image, you know, the danger of that built-up image, like, disappearing or being torn down in front of other people, you know, it speaks volumes, you know, a lot more than what they put on screen, which is great. Add on to that they still took time to go ahead and set things up. You know, granted, there's like 5 more episodes in this particular season, but they've laid cornerstones for things even beyond season 1 in this particular episode. There's a lot that they did and that they accomplished in just 22 and a half minutes. It's really, really impressive and really, really tight. And with that, again, an enthusiastic yay from me. All right. But that is our thoughts on this particular episode. Like we always say at the end of this particular episode, or any of these reviews that we do, folks, what did you think about Young Justice Season 1, Episode 21, Images? You could go ahead and tell us what you think about this particular episode in the comments below. You know, comment on our review, any of our thoughts. If there's anything we happen to miss, I don't think we did in this particular video, but there might have been. All right. You can leave us your comments below. While you're at it, if you like this particular video that we've done here, we'd like you to go ahead and mash on that like button. Feel free to hit the unlike if you honestly feel that way. And if you really like what we're doing here with our reviews or any of the other talk that we have as far as any of the geek stuff, whether it be movies, video games, or likewise, we encourage that you go ahead and hit subscribe and turn on those notifications so you'll know whenever we put out another video. And I promise I should probably sound a lot better next time we do. All right. With that, thank you very much for watching this particular video, folks. We are the Middle-Aged Guys, and this particular review has been on Young Justice Season 1, episode number 21, which was entitled Images. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
I'm Gray Mouse One.
All forms of entertainment has the right to exist, even if you don't like it. Credits.